Greetings, children of the screen. Your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again.
Hi, I'm Bree.
Hey, it's Logan.
What you mean you ain't seen Antiviral?
How many people have seen that movie?
Enough. Antiviral, originally released in 2012, not rated. Coming in at 108 minutes, classified as science fiction horror thriller, written and directed by Brandon Cronenberg, starring Caleb Landry Jones, Sarah Gadon, Douglas Smith, and Malcolm McDowell. So guys, Antiviral. Antiviral is a peculiar film. The basic overall story or idea behind the film is that we have Sid, played by Caleb Landry Jones, who is basically a young man who works at a clinic that specializes in selling celebrity viruses and diseases. Because he lives in a world so obsessed with celebrity that, yeah, that's something people do. They pick the celebrity they like, they go into a clinic, and they get literally injected with something sickly out of a celebrity's body. Or, on the other hand, you have people who buy meat made out of celebrity cloned cells, so they can literally go in and get a steak of their favorite actress or celebrity, you know, musician, or just like some bitch who's loud on TV. You know, they can do that in that world. However, as disturbing as that is, Sid actually is involved in the underworld of this world as well, where he is pirating and selling these diseases on the black market. And unfortunately, one of the diseases that he grabs, because he has to incubate all these diseases in his own body, one of them turns out to be something horribly deadly, which drags him into, like, an even further darker level of the underworld. And from there, it's just kind of a clusterfuck.
I don't understand how this isn't considered cannibalism.
You've become involved in something sinister.
It's a weird business, Sid.
So, alright guys. General thoughts. What'd you think of Antiviral?
I thought it was absolutely batshit crazy insane. It is such a different, far away removed world from what we have that it's so, it's so uncomfortable and, like, uneasy feeling. I don't know. It was weird.
I feel like idealistically wise, it's not far from this world.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At all.
Okay.
At all. The movie itself, pretty weird. Ideas, fascinating. I didn't mind it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I quite like it myself as well, and I would also say that while it's obviously an exaggeration,
Yeah.
I also don't think that this world is, like, because we're seeing it from the point of view of the character we are, it feels a little more far removed from the way society is now, but whenever you look at it from the exterior, it's kind of feels like the evolution of every celebrity from, like, you know, the Real Housewives of whatever, getting her own perfume
Kardashians.
line.
Yeah.
You know, getting her own, like,
Yeah.
every celebrity's doing their own.
It's literally like the TV show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Like,
Yeah,
just
you know.
people worship that show and worship that
Yes,
group
and
of
there are
people.
people, like, they sell Kim Kardashian t-shirts.
Well, yeah.
They sell purses. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure she also has, like, her own line of, like...
But I feel like a purse is like, you're not paying money to be uncomfortable, like you are with the flu or a cold.
Well,
or...
that's just the evolution of how it
No,
went.
yeah.
Like, at first it starts off as like, oh, she has that purse in that picture, I want that purse.
Right.
To where, like, no, that's her life. Like, that's in her genetics right now. Like, I want that in my genetics.
I
to
still
be a part
don't-
of her.
I don't-
Well, and here's the thing that you also have to think about is, like, right now you have two different levels of fandom. You have the fandom who, they want all those things that have those people's name on it. Then you have the other side of fandom who, if they were to see them in person, would just attack them with affection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, try to rip their clothes off to get part of it.
Yeah.
So, in this movie, what we actually see is the divide between those two fans vanishing. Because now, in order to be close to that celebrity, you don't have to go and steal a piece of their clothing or buy their handbag. Like, you can actually, like, unite
Buy
with
them.
them. And because it's been basically it's been commonized in the society
Yeah,
they live
to where
in.
it's safe.
Yeah,
And natural.
the movie is
or common.
deliberately vague on what time period it takes place in. In my mind, this movie's probably no more than 5 or 10 years in the future. Especially with the way that, like, celebrity has shifted over the last couple of years. Where it used to be, like, how'd you become a big celebrity? Well, people saw you in everything. That you were in TV or movies, or, you know, you were a musician who had tons of music videos. And before that, it was all about radio, you know? And nowadays, with the use of the internet, it has completely changed fandom and the way that celebrity works. And so as, like, celebrity and the way that people interact with celebrity is constantly changing and evolving, obviously I think that, like, the biggest leap in this is kind of, like, they don't show us the evolution of it. So, like, that's the thing we're missing. But at the same time, despite this movie being really fucked up and dark, it is actually, by the creators, considered to be a satire of, like, celebrity culture. You know, like a lot of good science fiction, it's taking something socially relevant and just putting enough of a twist on it to make you kind of think about it in a different light.
Yeah.
But I can also see your point of view of it feels removed because, like, again, we're seeing it from an internal layer
Yeah.
as opposed to seeing it from someone who's coming into it from the outside with the fascination of the fan.
Yeah.
And even from the inside, where we're seeing from, we see a certain amount of manipulation of needy or, like, damaged people that's happening willingly from the part of the company.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. It's a little hard to, like, especially with Sid as our main character, it's a little hard to, like, relate to the situation.
Yeah.
But I do think that also gives you a more detached, like, observant nature of the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Right on, guys. So, what out of this incredibly weird and bizarre movie did you enjoy?
The commitment from the lead actor, Sid.
Caleb Landry Jones?
Yeah. He committed. And, like, seeing him in the behind the scenes,
Texas boys don't fuck around.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. He looks like such a fun and, like, lighthearted person, but
yeah.
then when
Yeah.
you see him in the movie, it's like he's wow. It was fun.
Like, not only did he commit, like, physically and emotionally and stuff, but, like, a lot of the things that he did in preparation for the movie was, like, he based a lot of the moments on, like, moments from old silent films. Like, in particular, like, him holding his face in that sequence actually comes from an old silent black and white movie called The Man Who Laughed, which is actually the same film that inspired The Joker.
Yeah.
Which is about a man who, like, gets stuck with a rictus grin, and at one point he's walking around like this, trying not to frighten people, but he looks like even more menacing.
Yeah.
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 So, like, and there's actually a bunch of different moments in the movie that are kind of influenced and inspired by those kind of things, and I think that they definitely help add to, like, the kind of bizarre, unsettling. Like, there are moments where even the way he walks with his, like, sickly thing,
Yeah.
he's also mimicking, like, the kind of jittery movements of old silent films. That, like, images that particularly disturbed him or, like, he felt were unsettling.
Yeah.
And he incorporated all those things in. But again, like you were saying, like, he also just went all out in terms of his body
Yeah,
and, like,
acting, like, the
Yeah.
way to act sick.
Oh,
like,
God, yeah.
acting
Yeah.
sick.
It's hard.
yeah,
And
well,
he's-
and because when you think of sick, you do think of, like, a physical body thing. But in movies, we don't respond well to people who are just kind of like, I don't feel good. Like, you have to look like you're
Yeah.
physically hurting in ways that you probably actually wouldn't be in real life.
Right.
Um,
Or, like, when he's, like, vomiting, you're like, been there.
yeah.
Like, I get it.
There
you
are
know?
some things where he exaggerates the physical aspect of it so that you psychologically understand the depth of how
Yeah.
much sicker he's getting.
Yeah.
And I think that works really, really, really well. Because, again, there's a big difference in film between what is reality and what looks real. And then that's really good because later on in the film, when he contracts a disease no one knows about, his reactions are so, like, violent
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
like,
Genuine.
strange that it really adds to that uncomfortable feeling of, like, you have no idea what's even inside of you.
Yeah.
Which is something we associate with being sick, and especially fatal sickness, so much. And how about you, sir?
Yeah, I mean, we can all agree that Sid March, Landry Jones,
Yes,
and that's
Caleb Landry Jones.
ridiculous.
You the bomb.
Yeah, I'd say, I guess, like, the themes, like, the
Yeah.
overall message they're trying to
Right.
get across in it, just fascinating to me. I don't care about celebrities too much.
Right.
That's just not for me, clearly.
Fair.
Look at me. Like, I'm not a gossip girl. So that's just, like, that alone is hilarious. Like, that it can kind of set me back in a place where, like, it is insane. The movie's insane. There's a lot of uncomfortable shit in it.
Yeah.
But I can enjoy it, too.
Yeah.
Like, it took me a minute to kind of figure it out. Like, I kind of understood. I don't think we really talked about it. Y'all did, but I didn't really
Yeah.
going in, which kind of was cool, because I got to get a lot of, like, oh, okay, so, like, the moment when you kind of realize, like, he's kind of a fan, too.
Yeah. Or like there's something weird.
Yeah.
It's not just about him making money.
Right, yeah, he's not in this maliciously. Like, he has other goals or other
Yeah.
intentions, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah,
And
you
so-
kept calling it his special surprise or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, I enjoyed it, which I guess would be my favorite part, because I really didn't think I was going to.
Right on. Yeah, the themes and like the subtextual like stuff that they're playing with in terms of like the social satire of it
Yes.
are really interesting, and it is heightened to the point, like I said, it is supposed to be a satire, so it's supposed to be slightly funny and it's some of its exaggerations. But yeah, like just from having gone to like the cons that I've gone to, like whenever I was doing movies and going to the horror cons, and then also just like going other places where like there, or even like when I used to live in Austin and I worked in Bee Cave where celebrities came in all the time, the way people like having seen firsthand the way people react to celebrity, I think that's probably one of the reasons why I accept this as, because I don't care either. Like I like certain actors or musicians because of what they've done, but I've never reached that level of super fan.
Yeah.
Where like there have been multiple times where I've seen someone who I really like, who's a a celebrity, and I'm just like, they don't want me to bother him. Like,
Yeah, he's just a dude.
yeah, he's just a dude trying to eat lunch with his fucking kid.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not cool. I'm not gonna
Right.
do that. But
Right.
literally, as I'm thinking that, a group of like 3 fucking people just swarmed this goddamn dude.
Right.
And like,
he
they're
could take a shit and they'd scoop it up.
yeah,
into a
and like, cause
jar.
their hands are all over
Yeah.
him. Like, they're not ripping at him, but like, they're just like, oh my god, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, like, yeah,
It's
like,
disgusting.
I've seen the insanity that fandom causes. So like, the way that this spirals that out, I think, is really interesting and fascinating. And as among, like, you both kind of hit it on the head. Like, my 2 favorite things in the movie is kind of like the play on society and like the phenomenon of modern day celebrity that the movie does, mixed with Caleb Landry Jones's performance, because yeah, man, it is so good.
Yeah,
And
it's-
like, the movie creates an environment that's supposed to make you uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and everything about his performance reinforces that idea.
Yeah.
And then I really love the fact that, like, probably about 15-20 minutes into the movie, you get to a point where you realize that Sid is not a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you get to a point, and the weird thing is, up until that point, you have not been empathizing with him.
No, like, you're like, okay, like, you just
Yeah,
have-
like,
you
you're-
seem like a dude that's stuck in the same shtick.
Yeah, like, you're
Like-
watching him and you're observing him, but you don't really feel any, like, connection to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And then, like, you find out he's kind of an unscrupulous dude, too, so then that pushes you even further away. But then Caleb Landry Jones, in his performance of being sick, manages to convey so much that, like, literally 20 minutes into the film after you're thinking that, like, you were there, and you're just like,
Yeah.
like, especially when he's trying to escape, when he's, like, been captured by the other company who sells.
Not
them.
even then, like, when he's in the restaurant and the two
Yeah,
guys sit
yeah.
down, and
Yeah.
you're like, this poor fucking
Yeah,
guy.
like, you feel bad
Like-
for this
like,
guy,
yeah.
even though he's kind of an ass, and he totally put himself in this
Yes,
position.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's 100% his fault. No
yeah.
one did this to him,
Mm-hmm.
but still, like, even with all that working against him, he, in his performance, manages to fucking sell you sympathy for this character.
Yeah.
And even empathy to a certain degree, especially once he starts seeing people who are crazier than the fans he's used to dealing with.
Right.
yeah.
Um, So yeah, like all around, those things I think come together, and like for good or ill, like I know that the movie's too much for some people, but for good or ill, I think it creates the exact thing that they were wanting to do with the film. I think perfectly those two things work together to create like the perfect storm of intent.
Excuse me. Right.
What can I get you boys?
I'll have the calamari.
I'm fine.
How about you?
I'll have the calamari.
2 calamaris.
You're looking pretty sick.
I'll live.
Is that true? I think you're a lot worse than you're letting on. I'm sorry. We're just waiting for a car. My name's Portland. This is West. I'm taking you to meet someone.
I'd rather not.
Are you planning on being difficult about it?
No. I guess not.
That would be for the best.
All right, guys. Now we're to everybody's favorite part of the video, where I have to ask you, what'd you fucking hate in this movie? And don't worry, I was only owed one favor by Dr. West, so no one's dying this video.
Okay.
Right.
So
Oh, good.
answer freely.
Okay, cool. I'm a little scared, but I'm worried. I'm ready. There's one particular scene where he meets with his new doctor guy in the white lab coat, you remember? And he, like, pulls up his sleeve and he has the, like, swatches of other...
Oh, yeah.
That, for some reason, makes me so wildly uncomfortable for some reason. Like,
That?
yeah.
My interest in her, of course, is more than professional. Here. There's a company in Munich where they make these. They're skin grafts. Grown from celebrity skin cell samples. This one here. This one is Hannah. You know, I'm not a spiritual man. The belief in God has always struck me as a sign of dangerous infantilism. But you will forgive me if I tell you that with each of these patches, my world has become more charged. That there is a power, something in the thrall of the collective eye, that can be consumed and appropriated.
Why? What do you get out of that? Like, I get if you're eating them, you're getting
Seeking-
food at least.
No, like he
You ever heard
literally
that?
makes
You-
them a part of themselves.
Yeah, have you never heard that thing, like, take a piece of me with you when you leave? Kind of like, you know?
Yeah.
It's just literally doing that. No big deal.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually find the idea of eating the meat more revolting than those.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's revolting, but like for some reason, I don't know why that just really ruffled my
Also,
feathers.
Also,
Okay.
I
What?
think the skin grafts are a better deal.
Huh.
Because you
'Cause you get
pay,
to keep
you
it-
get to keep it as part of you forever, and it's
Yeah.
not a disease.
Fair.
Hey, hold
You
up,
know?
though.
Fair.
What if it is, right? Like, what if they cut a piece off while it was diseased? So he had to go through all that shit, then he kept his memory.
Ugh.
Well,
like a tattoo at
Well,
that
and again,
point.
it's not actually part of their flesh. It's made up
There
from
was
cells.
pain,
Yeah,
and
it's
then he
like
had to
a-
keep it forever.
It's like a
The problem with that would be that I don't think you would be able to grow actual flesh cells that were sick.
Okay.
Because I think
Okay,
they would,
true.
if you're growing them cell by cell, I think they would end up, which is how they make those, you know?
Right.
I think they would end up, again, I'm not a fucking biologist
But
or
this
like,
Also, we're in a
sounds-
world where they're injecting themselves with diseases anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like, you know,
So-
but no, yeah. I mean, that's fair, I guess, but
yeah.
it's just out of all
Like,
the weird shit in
no,
this
like
movie.
all of it all revolted me. Like them eating the meat, the ending scene where he's like drinking the blood out of the weird machine lady. It was all weird, but that
pipe vagina.
for some reason, don't say words like that. For some
Pipe
reason,
vagina.
that just made me really uncomfortable.
Like the combination of the words pipe and vagina. It's not even that bad when you say it like that. Pipe and vagina. No, pipe vagina.
No.
Why is that so fucking disturbing?
Oh, she wasn't
Oh my
ready. Oh.
I don't really have anything on this one, man. Like, I'm not afraid of needles, so it didn't really fuck me up. Cause there's a lot of needles, by the way. If you're worried about needles, like, get the
Yes.
fuck
Yeah.
outta here.
Yes.
You're screwed. Yeah, no, man, it's fine. If I really had to choose something, I guess it'd be the pictures on the diseases.
The pictures
Because
of the
each
face.
disease has a unique face,
Yeah.
right? And it's all distorted, and like, I don't know. Seeing those, kind of fucking weird.
It is, and I think, like, I can't remember exactly. I've watched the commentary on this film, and I think they address it, and I think that half of it is just, like, because it's a cool sci-fi idea, but the other half of it is because how do you, for an audience who's watching a movie, visibly give a cue as to what a disease is without just putting the name of the disease on screen, which is
Right.
usually this many, this long, this
Yeah.
many letters.
Right.
Like,
You need a visual
yeah,
cue for
you need
the
a visual
difference.
vocabulary, so that way when a disease pops up again, you notice it. Or like when they showed the disease he gets in the end, and like it's a baby. We
Yeah.
haven't seen a baby before, which indicates that it's something new.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like so. I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, it's definitely one of the weirder things that where it's like it does.
Yeah.
It probably makes less in-universe sense than a lot of the other things built into the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
but it does serve a cinematic function.
Yeah.
And as this movie
Which
kind of
I can understand that.
Yeah.
You know, like it did its purpose.
Yeah,
So I'm not
totally.
gonna bitch about that.
It
but,
served its function.
It was weird.
But yeah, and also because this movie like teeters on the edge of art film so much,
Yeah.
I think that also makes it kind of work, you know? Like, I think that's how they can get away with it being that much further out there than all the other sci-fi elements they've introduced, you
Yeah.
know? It's something visual, it's technically arty, and like all those pictures look like kind of like weirdly developed, exposed photos and stuff. So I think it kind of plays into the aesthetics very well of the film. And as for me, my least favorite thing about this film is that Brie fucking hates it. Thinks that Brandon Cronenberg should be castrated and thrown into a river with piranhas to be pulled out right before he dies so that he can be put in an iron lung like the poor girl at the end of this movie. That's what she thinks. She said that when the camera was off.
I never said that.
That's my least favorite thing about this movie.
You lied.
Even though Brandon seems like a pretty cool dude.
I
Yeah.
would never say
It's kind of a bitch thing to do, man.
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah. And he probably wouldn't even retaliate. He's such a nice guy and he's
Yeah.
so quiet.
Well, he's Canadian, too.
He's Canadian.
He's fucking Canadian. His dad made some of the most horrific movies ever committed to film, or most grotesque movies committed to film, and he's like the nicest little Canadian man you've ever met.
Right, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, fuck you, Brie. The Cronenbergs rock. I'll put in like parentheses on the screen. This is just a joke.
I
She
was
did
gonna
not
be
say
like, watch
that.
Antiviral.
Right on, guys. So, would you recommend this movie?
Ooh, no.
What?
I don't know if I would. Not to
Whoa.
like everybody. To select people, yes, but not to anyone. No.
Okay. And how about you, sir?
Sure. Except for people that are afraid of needles. Like,
Yeah.
that suck for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is rough.
I definitely have recommended this movie to a pretty good cross-section of people, and I would recommend it again. However, this is definitely a movie that you don't blind recommend people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Like,
pretty
people
sure
that
you could...
haven't seen
No, yeah.
Incredibles, you can,
Yeah.
know, like, you can go, watch Incredibles.
Yeah,
But-
but like, I was sure you could handle it, so I didn't give
Yeah.
you any primer or anything, but, like, anytime I've recommended this to someone who's not watching it with me, I give them, like, a basic... I try not to spoil the movie, but I'm like, look,
This movie's
this movie's it's
Yeah.
It's-
If you're gonna have friends over...
it's an experience. like
shots.
yeah, it's an experience. Because I definitely like recommending it. The cinematography is fantastic. The writing is absolutely fantastic. All the performances across the board are really, really solid, both
Yeah.
leads and like supporting characters. And I feel that like everything that they try to do in the film functions perfectly the way that it should. It is a well organized machine of cinema.
Yeah.
But at the same time, all those things also make it incredibly hard for some people to watch.
Yeah.
Because not everyone goes into a movie being like, I just want to feel like this intense like uneasiness for like the
Yeah.
next hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, some people like I love that. I love any movie that just makes me feel different, that it can actually change my mood and like
Yeah.
emotionally or psychologically
Do
take me
what
to another
music
place.
does to us on a daily
Yeah,
basis.
exactly. Which ideally the best films do, and
Yeah.
film really should try for that. And this film achieves that but it just so happens what the place they're trying to take you to isn't necessarily a pleasant one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not,
Yeah.
Incredibles.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So yeah, under those circumstances, I think all three of us, like under our own, yeah, definitely recommend it. Just do it with care.
And not
Yeah.
Brie, though. She didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, she's saying that now so that y'all don't, like, lynch her or something.
Like I said, I
Later.
would to certain people, like people who are like-minded like us and who would enjoy things like that. But like my mom, nah, let's just skip that one.
I don't know. I think there's something in this movie for her.
Do you
Shout
know?
out.
Shout out
Sup,
to Bree's
mom? Hey.
Right on, guys. Thank you very much for joining us for What You Mean You Ain't Seen Antiviral.
Good night, guys.
Later.
And if you like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get updates on all the dope content we'll have coming out in the future. Furthermore, guys, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I will have the links for that in the description below. Thank you very much, children of the screen. Hope you all have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.
About the movies and
Anyway.
friends we made along the way.
I think that's our cue to end this take.